Okay, picking up where we left off at, we're supposed to perform the indicated operation and simplify the result by hand and show all of our work. We're just doing problems B and C from problem 32. So first thing, you notice here that we had a difference of two squares. So this would be k minus 3 and k plus 3. Now our denominator, we had k squared minus 5k minus 24. I'm going to use this side that has a on it to factor this out. Now, we know that we have a is 1, b is negative 5, and c is negative 24. When we multiply a and c, that gives us negative 24. And we could write down the factors of 24, which is 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, and 4 and 6. Now, whenever we multiply a and c and it gives us a negative, and b is also negative, that means that the larger number is negative. So all of these larger numbers are negative. So we're trying to get the numbers that add together that will give us negative 5. That'll be 3 and negative 8, which will give us negative 5. So we could write here, this would be k squared minus 8k plus 3k minus 24. So we group the first two, we will have k, and we'll be left with k minus 8. We group the second two, we can factor out a positive 3, and we'll have k minus 8. So we would end up with k plus 3 in one parenthesis and k minus 8 in the other parenthesis. Now, we would change this division to multiplication. Now, we know in our denominator we had k minus 3. But our numerator, we have the same situation here. We need to do the a, b, and c. So a is 1, b is negative 10, and c is 16. So we multiply a and c, that's 1 times 16, which is 16. And we write out the factors of 16, which is 1 and 16, 2 and 8, and 4 and 4. Now, we know everything stays positive. And well, actually, when a and c is positive and our b is negative, that means that both of these factors are negative. Now, when we add these up, the only one that will give us negative 10 is the negative 2 and negative 8. So we would have k squared minus 2k minus 8k minus 10. We'll group the first two, and we'll have k, and we'll be left with k minus 2. We group the second two, we could factor out. Okay, with the second two factors, I made a little mistake here. This last number is supposed to be 16, not 10. So when we group the last two, we could factor out a negative 8, and we had k minus 2. So now we would have k minus 8 in one parenthesis, and k minus 2 in the other parenthesis. So now we factored everything. These k minus 3's will simplify out. These k minus 8's will simplify out. These k plus 3's will simplify out. And we'll be just left with k minus 2. Now we go down here to C. Now with C here, we have the difference of two squares in our numerator, which give us x minus 7, x plus 7. Now in the denominator, we could factor out a negative 1, and that would leave us x minus x squared minus 9. Now, multiply by, with this first equation here, we could factor out a 2x, or first expression, and we'll be left with x squared plus 4x minus 21. And this will be all over. We could factor out 5, and we have x minus 7. Now, we need to rewrite this. We have x minus 7 times x plus 7 all over negative 1. This is the difference of two squares, so it would be x minus 3, x plus 3. So times. Now, we will have 2x. Now, I'm going to go over here since we're not going to do D. I'm going to list this parentheses A, B, and C. So we have A is 1, B is 4, and C is negative 21. So we'll multiply a and c, which will give us negative 21. And then our factors of 21 is 1 and 21 and 3 and 7. So whenever we multiply a and c and it gives us a negative, but our b is positive, that means that our lower numbers are negative. And when we add these numbers together, only negative 3 and 7 will give us 4. So we will have x squared minus 3x plus 7x minus 21. We group the first two, we can factor out an x and we have x minus 3. We group the second two, we can factor out a 7 and we have x minus 3. So in this parenthesis here, we have x minus 3 and x plus 7. And our denominator, we have 5 times x minus 7. Now we can simplify. This x minus 7 and this x minus 7 will simplify out. This x minus 3 and this x minus 3 will simplify out. Now nothing else simplifies out. So what we will have here is we have 2x times x plus 7. And since we have that twice, we could put x plus 7 squared all over. This would be negative 1 times x plus 3. Now instead of leaving this negative 1 in our denominator, we could put the negative in the middle, and then our answer would be a negative 2x times x plus 7 parentheses squared all over x plus 3. And we're done. Now our next problem here is 34b. We have f divided by g. So what we need to do here, what I would suggest before we write this out, let's factor this f and then factor g and then see what we come up with. X squared, we're not going to do a. X squared minus x minus 2. This factors out to be x minus 2 and x plus 1. And our denominator, x squared plus 5x plus 6 factors out to be x plus 2 and x plus 3. So we can substitute this in for f. So we have x minus 2, x plus 1, all over x plus 2, and x plus 3. Now this is divided by. Now we know we cannot do anything else with the x plus 3 and the x plus 2. So we substitute that in for g. So we have x minus 2 times x plus 1 all over x plus 2 times x plus 3. Change division to multiplication. Take the reciprocal of the second fraction. And then we simplify. So the x plus 2's will simplify out. And actually that's all that simplifies out. So we will have x minus 2 times x plus 1 all over x plus 3. Now we could write x plus 3 squared or x plus 3 times x plus 3. Either one is acceptable. And that is the final answer. Now number 36 says, find the x-intercepts of f of x, and we're given this equation here. Now remember, the x-intercept is when y is 0, and we know f of x basically represents y. So we'll have 0 is equal to x minus 7 over x plus 1 minus x plus 3 over x minus 4. So what we could do is we could multiply everything by the LCD, which would be x plus 1 times x minus 4. Now we know these values times 0 is still 0. The x plus 1's will simplify out and leave you x minus 4 times x minus 7. Now here these x minus 4's will simplify out, and that will leave you a minus x plus 1 times x plus 3. Now we can multiply. This will give us x squared minus 11x plus 28. And then when we multiply this out, we know whatever we get, we have to take its opposite. So we know we have a negative x squared. And then what we would have had in the middle here would have been 4x. So it would be a negative 4x. And 1 times 3 is 3. And we take its opposite as being negative 3. So if you want to, you can go off to the side, multiply these two parentheses, and whatever you get, you would take the opposite sign of them. And this is what you would end up with. Now we combine like terms. These x squares will simplify out. Negative 11x minus 4x. Remember, we look at the sign in front of the values. So this will give us a negative 15x. 28 minus 3 is a positive 25. So we'll subtract 25 on both sides. And we had negative 25 is equal to a negative 15x. Now, we would divide each side by negative 15. I'm going to have to go off here to the side because I ran out of space. A negative divided by a negative is positive. We know we could divide 25 and 15 both by 5. And this would give us 5/3. And that would equal x. So this is your x-intercept. But remember, and I shouldn't have circled this, but remember your final answer has to be written as an ordered pair. So it would be 5/3, comma 0. And this will be your final answer. Now we come down here to the last problem that was asked for, which is 37D. Now, we want to take this problem here and get P by itself. So the first thing we need to do is square both sides to get rid of this square root. So we would square the C, and we would square this value here. So this would give us C squared is equal to T over P. Now we want to get P by itself, so we'll multiply both sides by P. And we'll have PC squared is equal to, these P's will simplify out and leave you T. Then we'll divide each side by C squared. And P is equal to T over C squared. And we are done.